John Roseborough had the pleasure of catching for both Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax, and he definitely made the most of it. He was a 3-time All-Star, a 2-time Gold Glove winner. In both years, 63 and 65, he helped the Los Angeles Dodgers win World Series World Championships. Groomed to be Roy Campanella's replacement, during the 1960s, he hit 78 home runs, had 493 RBIs, and led all catchers for the decade with 48 stolen bases. He had a career-high 287 in 1964, and during 3 different seasons, he would receive MVP votes. His best season was 1961 when he hit 18 home runs, batted in 59 RBIs, also had 59 runs scored, and would win his first of 2 Gold Gloves. The 4th best catcher of the 1960s goes to Minnesota Twins Earl Batty. From 1960 to 1962, Earl would win 3 consecutive Gold Glove awards, and for the decade he was a 4-time All-Star. He hit over 280 4 times, including in 1961 when he hit 302. He would finish the decade with 91 home runs, 410 RBIs, and 346 runs scored. His best season was 1963 when he had 26 home runs, 89 RBIs. He scored 64 runs. He was an All-Star, had a batting average of 285, and finished 7th in MVP voting. Earl Batty is a member of the Minnesota Twins Hall of Fame. The 3rd best catcher of the 1960s goes to New York Yankee Elston Howard. After playing for 3 seasons as a professional in the Negro Leagues and then 2 years of military service, he finally landed in the Yankees organization, where he would eventually take over the catching duties for Hall of Famer Yogi Berra. Elston would go on to be a 6-time All-Star in the 1960s, and he won 2 Gold Gloves. His best season was 1963 when he would hit 28 home runs, drive in 85 runs, score another 75 runs, have a 287 batting average, and he would become the first African American to win the American League MVP award. In the 1960s, he had 80 or more RBIs 3 times, and in 1961, he had a career-high batting average of 348. Elston Howard's number 32 is retired by the New York Yankees. The best hitting catcher in the 1960s, and the guy that I have ranked number 2, Milwaukee and Atlanta Brave, Joe Torre. In 1961, Joe Torre would finish 2nd in the Rookie of the Year voting, and he was a 5-time All-Star during the decade. He had over 100 RBIs 3 times, and not once during the entire decade would his batting average drop below 271, and that includes seasons where he hit 315 and another one where he hit 321. He hit 20 or more home runs 4 times, including 1966 when he hit 36 home runs, to go along with 101 RBIs, 85 runs scored, and that was the year he had a 315 batting average. That was probably his best season. For the decade, he led all catchers with 160 home runs. He led all catchers with 650 RBIs. He led all catchers with 538 runs scored. He was a 1965 Gold Glove winner, and not much past the 1960s. In 1971, he would be the MVP winner. And then much past the 1960s, he would manage the New York Yankees to 4 World Series championships. The man that I think was the best catcher in the 1960s was Detroit Tiger Bill Freehan. Bill won 5 Gold Gloves during the 1960s and was a 6-time All-Star. In 1967, he would finish 3rd in MVP voting, and then the very next year, in 1968, behind the strength of 25 home runs, 84 RBIs, 73 runs scored, a 263 batting average, a Gold Glove, he would finish 2nd in MVP voting, behind his battery mate, Denny McLain. At the time of his retirement, his 200 career home runs would rank him 3rd all-time amongst catchers, trailing only Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra. Bill Freehan holds the Major League Baseball record for playing in the most All-Star games, 11, without making the Hall of Fame.